Hey, everybody.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. What's going on, Kat?
Not much. Getting over a nasty cold.
I know. Bless your heart.
I hope I sound okay.
I feel like you sound better than I thought you were going to sound.
Okay, good.
Since we had to cancel recording yesterday. I thought the worst.
Yeah.
I was worried.
No, I just more so I just felt like crap.
Yeah.
And I just stayed curled up on the couch and literally didn't move for like 8 hours. So
that is my dream in life right now. I had the luxury. I watched 2 whole TV shows yesterday on my day off.
What?
And that was that was a luxury for me.
Like episodes or like the entire series?
No, yeah,
okay.
Right. I don't have that kind of free time in my life, but I get to sit on the couch in a blanket and watch like 2 whole hours of TV uninterrupted. It was kind of nice and amazing.
Oh, that's good.
These are the things I dream of.
I know. I did watch a movie too. I finally watched The Joker.
Did you?
Which I've been wanting to watch. Yeah.
Is it good?
It is good. It's super dark and like made me feel terrible after I watched it, but it was good.
Oh, joy. Awesome.
No, it's definitely worth watching. Probably not one that, I don't know, Tyler probably could watch it. It's really it's just super dark, but
he watches scary movies like all the time. So I feel
it's not even scary.
It's just mentally dark.
Yeah, it's mental. It's like mental illness and stuff that goes on in it. And just
I wanted to see it in theater, but he didn't. And I'm at this point where I don't have I don't remember the last time I went to a movie theater to see a movie that Tyler didn't take me to. So
and honestly, it'd probably be kind of boring to him. It's
really?
A long movie. Not a lot happens really in it. I don't even know that he would like it because it's not like the other, superhero movies and scary movies that he watches. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I'll have to wait till it comes out on Redbox, I guess. Or is it out on Redbox?
It is.
Oh, that's how you watched it at your house. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll have to.
That was good.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
So before we dive into it, what are you wearing today?
Okay, so I am wearing the Doxa from our friend Snake Rabbit Crow, our friend Matt, who sent this in for me to check out for a little while.
Very cool. I like that watch a lot.
I like it. I'm still trying to figure out what the difference is. So this is the sub 1200, which was a limited edition piece. I'm still trying to find out what the difference is between the sub 1200 and the sub 300, because the 300 is what I'm looking at. When you look at the specs online, the specs are all the same, but everybody keeps telling me they're different and that they wear differently, and I'm going insane. I have no idea what the difference is. I've talked to the watch dude over in Scotland who sells Doxas, and he tells me that the crystal's just a little bit different and the case shape I think is a little different, but he also didn't have a 1200 sitting in front of him, so he wasn't too sure on top of his head. But it's so frustrating. I just want to know what everybody keeps saying, that it's different, but if you look at all the specs online, they're the exact same. So I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah. I'm not sure either. I remember we were looking at this last time, and I think I remember seeing something regarding the crystals were different. One was more curved, one was flat maybe, but really there wasn't a whole lot between the two.
But every time somebody comments on it, they tell me about how different their 300 is. So I don't know. I'm still... I guess I'll just have to wait and check out a 300 at some point. I do really like the watch. My downside to it so far, the case is heavy, which I don't typically mind, but I also can't find the perfect fit on the bracelet.
Okay.
I'm really particular about the way my watches fit. It really irritates me if they don't fit a certain way, but especially because I do have such a small wrist and I'm wearing such a big watch, the fit is much more important, because if it rotates too much, then it's sitting on that wrist bone, which is really uncomfortable. but like if it's too tight, obviously it's just going to be uncomfortable. So I feel like that's where I'm at right now is I can't, like I keep messing with that micro adjustment in the clasp a little bit, but I can't quite find the perfect fit. Like right now it's really tight, but if I were to let it out just like one little ping in that micro adjustment clasp, it feels like I let it out like a whole length. Like it feels very loose. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's not good.
These are the life struggles of having small wrists and trying to wear ridiculously large watches.
Yeah. You wanted to try this one out because you were considering getting possibly a Doxylator this year.
Right.
And so you just kind of wanted to see what the quality was like, the color scheme, which you weren't a huge fan of the orange, but.
I kind of dig the orange right now, actually.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I still would probably
nice.
not get it. But yeah, maybe the other one fits different. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think you'll have to like go see one just to compare the two and see the difference. Because online, at least, they do look to be the same specs. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I have no idea. And I don't know anybody in Nashville who has a 300 that I can just ask to bring it to the next Watch Club meetup because I should still have this in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, I forgot we got a Nashville Watch Club meetup coming up soon.
Yes, we do. What? The first one of the year. I'm very excited. It feels like it's been a long time.
It does feel like it's been a long time.
But it's only been since December.
I know.
Aw,
yeah.
I miss the Watch fam. But
I can't wait.
What is on your wrist?
So today I'm just wearing a G-Shock. I'm actually wearing the Pagale, which has got like the rose gold sort of dial, I guess you could say. Yeah, I'm G-Shocking it today.
I love that one. The Pagale is so cute.
It is cute. It's like sort of an off-white. It's not stark white. And then that rose gold and all the buttons are rose gold too and matches my wedding ring and makes me feel a little girly. So I like it.
I feel like there was a lot of detail put into that one because not just like the outside of the screen is the rose gold color, but also the pushers. And I think that's what really makes that watch stand out. And the fact that it's not the bright white, like it is kind of more of like an eggshell off-white color. Yeah. So all the color really works well together. I like that one. It's cute. Yeah. I like it.
It is cute.
And
super
adorable.
Cute, but cute and adorable. We haven't said that in a while.
we actually haven't. I don't know. Somebody will probably pull up last week. We said it 8 times.
Probably so.
Oh. All right. So I guess after all of the fun stuff last week, this week seems a little bit more like dull. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be this way for a little while at least. I don't think there's going to be a lot of watch news until we hit Basil and some of the others. Yeah, there was a couple of releases within either this week or last week that came out.
Yeah.
But one of them was we got a couple Seikos to talk about. So we got the Brian May Seiko 5, which is actually pretty cool.
Really? I feel like it's a little, I don't know.
A little much?
It seems a little like desperate. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I know that they said that the dial is supposed to be like the color scheme is reminiscent of, the edge of a guitar or whatever. I just feel like they tried too hard to make it relevant. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I see the point, but like I was reading that he's been wearing Seiko divers for a very long time from the 70s. So I think he's a big Seiko fan. The dial is from his guitar, the Red Special. So I think it all comes together.
See, look at you actually reading about the watches and not just looking at the pictures.
I know, right?
This is the difference.
So he actually made this guitar that he's used with his dad a long time ago, I think back in the 60s perhaps, but and the dial is reminiscent of the guitar itself, which is cool. I mean, it's not a watch that I would go after. I don't like red particularly, so this doesn't speak to me, but for fans of Brian May and Queen and that like also Seiko divers, like this is a kind of an off one that is pretty neat and it's limited edition. I don't know about the price on this. Did I ever see a price on it? I don't see a price on it. I know that it's limited
free.
To 9,000 pieces.
Which is not super limited, by the way.
That's not like that's a lot,
especially for Seiko.
It gives people a chance to have one, though.
I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know either.
9,000 is definitely not limited. Oh, there is. So now I'm on the Seiko website. Actually, I'm looking at like all of the information. It does come in a really nice box. I like this box. It looks like a guitar box, like a guitar case.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Mm-hmm.
It's not terrible. I hope that they don't price it something crazy because I'm with you. I'm on the Seiko website and I don't see any pricing.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Seiko 5, so surely it's not going to be.
Have you seen the prices of some of these Seikos lately?
I know, but this line was like $250, $300. Aren't they in that price range still, or have they gone up, the Seiko 5s?
I think the new ones are like high 2s, low 3s.
Okay, so I would maybe like around the 500s at max for this one. But I mean, at the end of the day, again, it's just a Seiko 5. There's nothing special about it. He's got his signature on the back of it on the see-through case back.
Yeah.
I don't see anything else other than like the case, but it doesn't even come on a bracelet. It just comes on a NATO.
Right.
I don't know. Comes out May of 2020, which is clever.
Check it out then.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, but again, if you're a huge Brian May fan and you like the color red, this is actually probably pretty cool, but it's not for me personally.
Yeah.
But again, I do like seeing, because we had those Zodiacs that were in from Toppers that were designed by Eric Singer from Kiss.
Right.
And I thought those were really cool. So I'm glad that we see like some of these artists and musicians designing watches. Oris does a few with some, based on jazz musicians and stuff like that. And I think it's cool. I mean, I think we see a lot of musicians that are into watches, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, it's something cool. I like to see it. I think it's creative and kind of different.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, you do see so many musicians who are into watches. Those Zodiac, every time you mention those Zodiacs, I just fall more and more in love with that one, the blue one. Oh man, so good. No, it's not terrible. The limited edition number definitely throws me off. 9,000 for a Seiko is not like all that limited, but whatever. It is what it is, I guess. It does have some nice touches, and now that I've actually read like from the Seiko website more about it, and not just looked at pictures and thought, what the heck? It's not terrible. It's definitely not my cup of tea because, like you, I'm not a person who would wear red. Like, a red watch is, that's a very bold statement, I feel like. But yeah, it's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
No. And then there were a few other Seikos that were released at the end of last week, too. Mm-hmm. All limited editions as well. So you had the new Seiko Black Series Prospects limited editions. So there's 3 different watches in these. There's a chronograph diver. There's like the more traditional diver. Let's see. And then there's also one that has like more of a faux loom look to it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. What do you think?
I actually like the faux loom version. I do. I know you don't like it, but I think with the all black, like, it looks really cool. So yeah, I do dig it a little bit. Definitely.
No, I'm definitely not a fan. 100% not a fan of this watch. So I think it's limited. So it's a 200-meter diver. I think it's limited to 7,000 pieces. So again, not like overly limited. But I guess for Seiko, like, when you consider how many watches they put out, like 7,000 is probably not that many in the grand scheme of things for Seiko. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely not my favorite. I think the more traditional one is more my favorite, which is their 300-meter diver.
Yeah. And that's the Sumo, I think, right?
That's the one that's limited. Yeah, it's based off of the Sumo platform. It's limited to 600 pieces. That's definitely more my favorite. It does kind of remind me a little bit of that Topper limited edition, just a little bit. But I definitely dig it. But I feel like, honestly, if I were going to go for an all black, and maybe this is just because I like Seiko watches, but I don't know a lot about Seiko watches. And I think I've admitted this a few times. that I'm not really super familiar with all the references and all the history and whatnot. But I think for me, for a price point that's much less, I'd rather just go ahead and get that all black Seiko 5, because I've been looking for an all black watch anyways. And that Seiko 5 to me, for the price difference, I don't know. I think I'd rather go that right.
Yeah, I don't know how like the finishing is going to be a lot different between obviously the Seiko 5 and these.
Right. The movements are much different as well, too, I'm sure. I can't remember what movement is in these, but in the Seiko, the 5 is an automatic, but it's not. It's definitely their kind of entry level movement. So yeah, I'm not sure what the difference is in the movements between these, but yeah, not my favorite. I
don't think they're bad looking. I don't know, maybe I'm just liking the black cases a lot now, whether it's
we need all black
or
watches.
Yeah, I don't know. I have been looking at a few lately. I think I like them. I don't know that I would wear it all the time though, and that's my thing. I think I'm just kind of lusting after it a little bit, but
are you lusting?
These are cool, but
is it lust, not love?
It's just lust. All right. So another one that came out, I think I saw this yesterday actually, that I was really, I don't know, it just brought a smile to my face when I saw it. This is the Konstantin Chaykin, the Mouse King that they just came out with.
Right.
Did you not laugh when you saw this?
I did. So this came out for Chinese New Year, and it's the year of the rat.
Which today is the Chinese New Year.
Oh yeah, it is. So yeah. Happy New Year to all of our Chinese listeners. Yeah, no, so when I first saw it, I was scrolling through Instagram like really quickly. And the only reason I like went back up to look at it is because at first I thought it was a cat. Because I didn't see the teeth on the mouse. So I thought it was a cat, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like destined to be a crazy cat lady, I think. So I was looking at it and I was like, oh, it's a cat watch. I like went back up to look, and it was a mouse. It's crazy, but that's what they do. You know, the Joker watches and all of the other watches are just crazy. They're out there. This has that same look as the Joker watches that they're so well known for. Yeah, it's fun. It's different. It's definitely not my cup of tea at all. I couldn't imagine just looking down at my wrist and seeing a mouse all day, every day.
Yeah,
but
it is funny. I think this is, that is what they do. The backstory to this is that I think he was reading, what is it? The Nutcracker and the Mouse King.
Yeah.
To his daughter. And that's that inspired him to create the watch, which is really cool.
That's cool.
The Joker one is a favorite. I still think that one is really cool. This is not, if I had to pick one of their watches, this is probably not the one for me. It is funny. It's silly. And it does make me smile when I look at it, but I don't know that I love the fact that it's a rat or a mouse. This is the year of the rat, so I think that was an inspiration as well.
Right, exactly. I mean, it has its use. Like it definitely suits in, but it's definitely not my cup of tea.
No. And I mean, at the end of the day, like they do it really, really well. I mean, it's a titanium case, and I'm excited. Like when we go over to the UK, I'm really excited to see Floatlight's Joker, because every time I see it, it looks like there's just so much quality in that piece. Yes. So I'm excited to actually get to see one. But again, it's a really, really cool watch. Great movement inside. I think it has like 50-hour power reserve. They use a different movement in this one than they use in the Joker, and this one's a little bit thinner than the ETA one that they used previously. But it's just cool. I mean, like the hour and the minute markers are like with the eyes, and then the moon phase being the tongue. It's just really cool. If you had that kind of money to spend, I can't remember what this one is, like 24 or 25 1,000 euros or something like that. But yeah, it's just it's a cool piece. I don't know.
And again, it's probably not your everyday watch, No, it's
clearly.
Definitely the watch that you just throw on as it's a conversation piece.
Yes.
It's I don't know.
The same reason people buy, tourbillons and stuff like that. It's not your everyday wear, but clearly it's a watch that's going to draw people to your wrist, and you're going to talk about it. And at the end of the day, like, it's a very well made watch.
Oh,
and I think he only made 7 of these. So
really?
It's super limited.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is probably because there's only 7 people who would want to look at a mouse on their watch every day.
Well, I think I didn't even know the story of the Nutcracker and the Mouse King, but I think the Mouse King had like 7 heads or something like that, I read. So that's why he limited it to 7. And they're probably like difficult to make. I mean, there's a lot of detail going on in this watch. But
you are so good reading the facts about the stuff that we talk about.
I do my homework.
Man, I didn't know how. I was doing my homework this morning right before we started recording.
Well, I saw last night you were helping Tyler with his homework.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Common Core math is ridiculous, y'all. I posted this story on Instagram. I was taking a picture of his math homework, and like he had this whole thing, like they do like this online tutorial thing, or I don't know, something like that. Thank gosh, because I can't help it with this. And he's studying area. And when I was in school, all you had to do to calculate area was multiply height by width. And if you see, I'll put this picture in the show notes because it's just so random. And like all of the math that's involved now just to calculate area. And, you know, I've gotten quite a few responses. I actually got a response from somebody who's like a math professor, and you know, he told me like the whole reason behind it is now like so that kids really understand it and aren't just memorizing like formulas. Well, I mean, I feel like memorizing formulas has gotten me to like the age of 31 just fine. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of math that I've never used. Now, area, I will say I've used like, you know, in doing some things around the house and stuff like that. So that's a useful one. But yeah, math, man. It's hard now, like so hard. You should have seen basic multiplication. You can't just multiply like 2 by 6. Like it's like this whole long situation. It's absolutely ridiculous. But math,
that's great. I probably would fail.
They changed. The problem is like it. And I'm very fortunate. Tyler's so good at math, so I don't really have to like. I was just sitting next to him on the bar at my kitchen dining room, and so I was just sitting next to him, and like I could hear this tutorial thing, and I'm looking over, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And so luckily, I don't have to actually help him very often. But there should be a course, I feel like, for parents, because I don't know this math anymore. Like they changed math and I don't know it. I don't know like how to, because obviously you have to show your work and all this other, it's a whole thing. And I think that they should do a course for parents for it, but I also don't have the time and don't want to do another math course at the age of 31. So never mind.
I don't blame you.
Maybe I just won't say that. Like, bleep that part out. I don't, like, as the director of school boards is a random listener and it's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's require parents to take a 3-hour math course.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I saw it was like all this writing and just, and granted, my paperwork probably looks similar to that, but I feel like it's so hard for these kids to do math now. And like you said, it's just a completely different way than we grew up doing it. But I guess they're passing, so they're clearly learning it. We just are, we're going to be left behind, I guess.
I guess so. Well, and luckily,
let's face it, we're not like
no.
Our ship has sailed.
Most definitely. 100%. Yeah. Luckily, he has an uncle who's an engineer. So I'm like, any of the really hard maths, like, call your uncle. I can't do it. I barely made it. Once I got to high school, math was out. Like, it's a miracle that I passed anything.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Not my thing. But on the opposite end of math, let's talk about fun things, because there wasn't a whole lot of watch stuff to talk about. So we're going to talk about watch stuff, and we're going to talk about movies.
Yeah, I'm excited about. I think that I put some topics together that I think we can throw in there every once in a while when there's really just not a lot of watch news going on. And I'm a big like movie nerd, probably more so than I am a watch nerd.
Really?
Grew up, both my parents are like movie buffs. We went to the movies all the time. They're both like, they love movie trivia and all that kind of stuff. And even in Jonathan and me, we've definitely bonded over that and movie scores and stuff like that. So I'm always looking out. And especially since I got into the watch hobby, now I really pay attention to watches that are in movies.
I don't understand you guys who pay attention to watches in movies. Like, I'm just watching the movie. I don't. People ask me all the time, or they'll mention a watch that was worn in this movie, and I'm like, I had no idea. Like, unless the watch is being used and like really doing something, I would never know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just watching the movie to watch the movie. I don't know.
Oh, I'm definitely like, even in shows now, I'll go back and like watch old episodes of Friends and stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah, Monica's watching, like she's wearing a Rolex or something like that. So
Monica wears a Rolex?
I think she does. Yeah, at one point. Yeah, she has a watch on through a lot of the show.
I never even noticed.
I'm going back and watching it. Yeah,
or if it's a really cool watch, like something that you would really, really notice. Other than that, I'm not like pausing a movie, looking around or anything like that.
Well, I don't know that I don't necessarily pause.
Okay,
unless it's something that like I really want to know what it is. I'm definitely on the lookout. Always on the lookout now.
Yeah. No, not me.
I take the nerdery to a whole nother level.
But so many people do. And I've always been fascinated by watch people in movies. And luckily, I've never had to go watch a movie with watch people. Like all of the movies that I go see are with Tyler or like friends who aren't watch people. So, but I couldn't imagine like I'm sitting here really getting into this movie and somebody like tapping my shoulder and be like, hey, you see that watch? I'm like, shut
oh, no,
up.
I wouldn't do that.
Bye.
I definitely wouldn't do that. No, I keep it in my head,
Okay.
I'm like, oh, nice. Yeah.
But do you keep it in your head because you're not going to the movie with another watch person?
Probably. All
right. When we go see Top Gun, do not tap me in the middle of this movie to talk about the watches.
Okay, I promise. There's probably going to be a lot of good watches in that movie, too.
See, look at you already, foaming at the mouth, ready to talk watches. I'm just here to look at shirtless guys playing volleyball on the beach, okay?
Yes, please.
Hopefully not Tom Cruise anymore, because I think he's a little older, but...
He's probably in pretty good shape still, though, I bet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That was the best.
Favorite part of the whole movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember being like a little girl and just being like completely enamored by that scene.
Well, that was when Tom Cruise was so like big. Like, so he did Top Gun. He did so many movies just back to back to back. Days of Thunder. Like, I mean, we live in the South. Everybody here watches NASCAR, so Days of Thunder was like a real big thing. Like, don't lie, we all grew up, all of our daddies watched NASCAR. So every Sunday you watch football and you watch NASCAR. So Days of Thunder, what else did he do like right then? Man.
Probably the first Mission Impossible was around there too at some point.
Maybe. I feel
maybe
like there
after Top Gun.
There was a couple of other movies like kind of back to back. I don't know. Anyways, this is technically a watch podcast. So we're going to talk about some watches that we've seen in some movies. So we've each picked 3 movies that we're just going to talk about the watches. And yeah. Do you want to go first? You want me to?
Yeah, I can go first.
All right.
So the first movie I picked is one that kind of means a lot to me, and it's Men in Black, and the watch that was in the movie was the Hamilton Ventura. And I think that I'm not ruining anything here because I think everyone has seen this movie.
I feel like all the movies
5 of them, so
everybody has seen, so we're good.
Yes, but this movie probably, no joke, might have sparked my interest in watches.
Aww.
Because at the time, I was very obsessed with like gadgets. There was like Inspector Gadget that was around that time.
Oh man!
And I was probably like 6 or 7 when this came out, and I was just obsessed with everything they had in the movie. Their sunglasses, the neuralizer, and then of course he gets this watch with his suit, and they show it throughout the movie. He gets to pick it out. And I was just completely obsessed with it at the time. And I had no idea that might have like sparked a little bit of interest in watches as a kid. But it's so cool. I love the Ventura watch. I I want so bad to like want to buy one. I've thought about it so many times, but it's just so different. It's got this triangular case on it. It's very futuristic. I love the watch itself. And they've done a bunch of reiterations since, I think this watch originally came out in, I think 57, I want to say. This watch was worn by like Elvis, and it was made very famous from that. Again, all the Men in Black movies, I think it's in every single movie. And I just watched the last Men in Black that came out probably a couple weeks ago, the international version. And she wore Ventura through the whole movie. And it was
that's
like
right.
Lots of wrist shots. Yeah, lots of wrist shots of it. So it's very prominent in the movie. If you haven't seen Men in Black, you totally should, because it's pretty awesome.
I can't
it's
handle
just one of those fun movies.
I can't handle the original one anymore. I have this thing about I have this issue with cockroaches, like for real. And it's a whole situation when that movie comes on. And it's not even it's like
throughout the whole movie too.
It is. And I'm gonna make myself throw up. Oh my god. It's the stepping it's the stepping on the cockroaches, like the sound and the all right, we have to change. I'm like literally about to start dry heaving and gagging. So anyways, I can't watch much of that movie without like freaking out. It's a whole situation. Okay. I'm a girl, whatever. Like sometimes I'm overly girly about things. It is what it is. But it's a good movie. And I loved that movie when I was a kid. So
do you remember the watch in the movie?
I do. I don't necessarily remember it from a kid like perspective. Like I don't remember watching it like, and I don't even know what year that movie came out. I was young, so I don't.
I think 1997.
97.
So you're probably like 8 or 9.
I was 9. Yeah. So I don't remember that movie specifically, but like for the watch. But I mean, I do like now when I watch the movie, obviously I see the watch and I pay attention to it. So. All right.
We'll move on before you start gagging again.
Before we have to pause this podcast so I can go throw up. Oh man, Jesus. So my first pick is probably what got Tyler more into watches. So I'm very excited about this. So my first pick is Interstellar. So Interstellar, it's a movie. It came out in, I don't even know the year because that would have required me to do my homework, and only Kat does her homework. But Tyler was like 7 or 8 when this movie came out. And it was his favorite movie. And if you haven't seen this movie, I really recommend it. It is long, but it's incredibly well done. But the thing about this movie is the storyline is it has a lot going on. So it's very hard to keep up with. And like Tyler just picks up on it instantly, like even at the age of 8, like it's always been his favorite movie. He's understood everything going on. He watches anytime it's on TV, he watches it. Like I don't even have to listen to what he's watching. Like if I'm in another room, because there's a certain music that goes throughout the whole movie, and I'm like, oh, you're watching Interstellar again for like the 8 millionth time. But so there's 2 watches there. Both are done by Hamilton. Both were commissioned by Hamilton. One was commissioned specifically for this film, which was the Murph. So a lot of you guys are probably more familiar with the Murph because of the fact that Hodinkee did a limited edition later on Murph watch. But the watch was originally never designed for production. Only 10 pieces were made specifically for the film. And so it was really, it had a prominent role in the movie because the father, who is Cooper, used Morse code, and it kind of displayed on the watch. And a blog to watch, and I'll link the article in the website on the show notes. But a blog to watch did this really great article explaining how the production crew was able to do that, because that wasn't computer done. They actually took apart the movement. They filled it with a gel to keep the second hand from actually moving around too much, and then had some sort of device connected to it to be able to do Morse code on it. So it was just really cool. But then also, so the main character Cooper, who he wears a khaki pilot day date. And again, this watch does get a lot of screen time as well. And it's a cool watch. It's big. It's 44 millimeters. I actually, a couple years ago, had the opportunity to pick one of these up, ridiculously cheap. So Tyler has one. He doesn't wear it often because even though I paid hardly anything for it, it's still like a $1,200 watch, which is a little much for like elementary school and middle school. But he wears it every now and then, like if we're going out or something like that. And I'll still wear it every now and then, just to kind of keep it going. But I just thought that would be, you know, a really great gift for him to have as he gets older, and kind of grows into the watch. And he was just enamored by it. Like once he opened the box for Christmas a couple of years ago, he knew exactly what it was. And it was just a really cool experience and a really cool moment. So that's awesome. Mine.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I mean, especially, you know, for Tyler, you know, the watch, even the one that Cooper wears in the movie, you know, they're both shown throughout the whole movie. And, you know, Matthew McConaughey kind of sets the time on both of them. And that's really awesome. I freaking love the Murph watch.
I do too.
I wish it was a little bit smaller. It's got a really long lug to lug, and I know it's going to overhang on my wrist, so that's the only reason I probably haven't picked one up already. But I'm obsessed with the watch. I can't hate him for it because they made it to spec. It's exactly what it was in the movie. So it's like I want to hate him for it, but I can't because they kept it true and original. But yeah, I do love that watch. I love the movie too, and that's a really cool one. And Hamilton, like, they really are kind of the watch of the movies, in my opinion. They've been in a ton of movies. And I think there's a podcast with Worn and Wound that I think the CEO of Hamilton gets on there and talks about all the movies they've been in since the 30s. And it's a really cool podcast. If you like movies and you like Hamilton, it's one that you should check out for sure, because they've really become the watch of Hollywood, essentially, like in the movies. And it's really cool and exciting. So
all right, I'll see if I can hunt down that podcast and plug it into the show notes as well, so you guys can check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the next one I have on my list is a movie that's called All Is Lost. And it features Robert Redford. He is the one and only actor pretty much in the entire movie, which is strange because that's doesn't ever happen.
Yes.
But he wears a Seiko SKX 009 in the movie, and that's the Pepsi version of the SKX series. All right, so in the movie, he is sailing by himself. I think he's doing like a solo trip in his yacht, and I don't even know what ocean he's in, but anyway.
It's the Indian Ocean. I'm on the internet looking it up right now.
Oh, snap. You're doing some homework right now.
I did some homework during the podcast because I've never seen this movie.
Nice. All right. It's actually really good. It's a really, really good movie. But so he's in the Indian Ocean, and I think he's sleeping at night, and his ship or his yacht crashes into a shipping container that has been left loose in the ocean. And he wakes up to just water just flooding his boat. And I think he ends up getting it patched up, but all of his communication equipment, all of his navigation equipment is ruined. So at this point, he doesn't know what direction to go in. And I think he sets sail, and then a big, big storm comes in, and it's just like basically a survival movie from that point on. And it's really good. There's actually not a lot of talking in it. Of course, like Robert Redford is probably like one of the best actors ever. And so you don't really need a lot of talking in it. But yeah, the watch is actually featured a lot in the movie. You get a lot of close-up shots of it. And he's wearing it on a NATO too, which I think is really cool. But yeah, it's a really cool movie and lots of, wristwatch action throughout the whole movie. I wish I could say like the Seiko saved his life or something, but it didn't.
It's not that serious.
It didn't, but no, it's a really good movie. If you like survival movies, it's definitely one to check out. Like I said, it's not a lot of talking. He's the only actor in the movie, but again, it's really interesting and kind of action packed because he's trying to survive throughout this whole thing and a storm and all that stuff, which freaks me out a lot because I have a fear of like being in the middle of the ocean.
Really?
And yeah, I just don't. It's very scary. It's like super scary to me.
So you probably don't go like deep sea fishing or anything like that.
Nope.
Then really?
Nope.
Aw.
No.
It's so
I stay on the shoreline and I'll snorkel, but like I'm not going way out there.
Weren't you on a cruise first of all?
Yes. And you know how sick I was on the entire, like probably some of that was just fear more than just like sickness.
Man. I love deep sea fishing. Like I love just being out, like where you can't see anything. It's so just relaxing and serene and peaceful and Yeah, it's so great. Like, given I also enjoy laying just right there on the beach as well. But
now that I love.
That you got?
Yeah. I got that. I could do that.
Fair enough. I'll stay on the beach with you. It's good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool.
Okay. So my second movie, I am going to pick a movie based off of the watch that I'm wearing today. And I'm going to pick Sahara with Matthew McConaughey. It's not this exact watch, but he does wear the Doxa Sub 300, and it's been nicknamed the Dirk Pitt, which was his character name.
Oh, nice.
And it gets a ton of I feel like it's accidental screen time because of the fact that the orange is so bright, like
so bright.
You can see it from a mile away. And Matthew McConaughey in the movie, like, he's in the desert, so he's very tan and dark skinned in the movie anyways, but this orange still stands out so much on his wrist. I haven't seen this movie in forever. I actually might watch it again. But I feel like it's one of those movies that probably as a teenager I thought was really great because Matthew McConaughey, I mean, who doesn't love him? But I feel like as an adult, I'd be like, oh, God, other than Matthew McConaughey, there's nothing in this movie. So.
Yeah, I do remember it being pretty good, though. It was pretty funny, too.
All right. Did you watch it as a teenager, though, who liked Matthew McConaughey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't remember the watch in the movie. Like
I don't even remember most of the
I used to watch it all the time. Movie. Yeah. I might have to go and do some research.
We'll do some research. Yeah, we'll get back with you guys. We're just gonna research all of the Matthew McConaughey movies real quick. Yeah. But yeah, so he does wear the Doxa Sub 300. I think eventually, like, Doxa had done a limited edition Dirk Pitt watch, if I remember correctly, and that could totally be fake news because, again, I didn't do my homework. Only Kat did her homework. So,
well, I know that the author of the whole like Dirk Pitt like series, Clive Cussler, he was a diver, and I think he wore Doxa a lot, so he wanted the main character to wear it too.
Look at
but I never noticed. Like, I don't remember. Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch it because I don't remember Matthew McConaughey wearing it throughout the movie, so I'll have to watch it again.
You go do that research.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do that today.
Okay, what's next for you?
All right, so the last one I have on my list is probably one of my favorite movies, and it's one that's not really well known. I don't know, you've probably never even seen it, but it's called The Edge, and it has Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin in it. And Anthony Hopkins he's like a billionaire that's married to this really, really young model, and they go out to Alaska, and they're going to do this big photo shoot out there, and Alec Baldwin is like this cocky photographer, young hotshot guy. And I think there's like some jealousy going on between Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin. Mm-hmm. But anyway, they kind of play it like Anthony Hopkins' character is going through like a midlife crisis, but he's a little bit older for the usual like 40 to 50. I think he's like in his 60s in the movie. But he's like yearning for like an adventure. And he goes on this plane ride, this like super tiny plane, which is another fear of mine. They go in this plane to like, I think they're going to go try to meet this Indian man, but it's him, Alec Baldwin, and another character in the movie. And the plane crashes. One of them gets really badly hurt. They all survive, but then they're basically in the Alaskan wilderness at this point, and they're also being chased by a grizzly bear or Kodiak bear or something like that. So another adventure movie, but there is a ton of watches in this movie. So in the beginning, it's Anthony Hopkins' birthday, and his wife, the young model, she gives him a vintage Hamilton pocket watch, and I think she inscribes it on the back as well. And then you come to find out later that she was also kind of seeing Alec Baldwin, and she gave him an Omega. I know. Scandalous. She gave him an Omega Seamaster 300 chronograph. And I think she's wearing like a constellation in the movie too. So there's a ton of watches. And this movie, it's a little different than the others where like the pocket watch especially kind of helps with some of their survival. I won't ruin it for the people that haven't seen the movie, but the watches definitely play a role in the movie itself, and they're a very big part of it. But again, if you like adventure movies, I love adventure movies, survival movies. This is a great one. I love Alec Baldwin. I love Anthony Hopkins. And it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. But yeah, it's really cool. Really cool.
All right.
So, and again, another Hamilton.
So things we've learned is you don't like boats, you don't like planes, possibly because
Small planes.
Small planes, possibly because you just watch like movies about them going down.
Disaster movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You watched Titanic a lot too, didn't you?
Probably. I know I did. I was obsessed with that movie for a good while.
Because that movie was our generation. Like I remember being at sleepovers at friends' houses, and I was 8 or 9 watching this movie.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. Like that movie was everything. Also like 4 hours long. I remember the VHS tapes that came with this movie.
Yep, it was 2 of them.
2, yes, exactly. Oh man. Real old school.
Wow.
Okay. So my last film is again a movie that we might have to do some more research into.
Yes.
But so 50 Shades of Grey. And don't laugh, Kat. This is a very serious film. Okay. So first of all, the watch game in this film is super serious. And this is probably the only movie that I've ever actually paid attention to the watches. Not that much, but only because in the opening sequence, so before you even get to like the movie, and I knew he wore an Omega because I had also read the books, so I knew he wore Omega watches. But in the opening sequence of the first movie, there's just like him like nothing's actually happening. It's just like be real, basically. Like he's jogging, he starts to get ready, and he pulls out like a drawer for his watches, and you see him putting on his cufflinks, and then you see, and I grabbed a terrible screenshot of it, but you see all of these watches sitting around as well in this drawer, and you see the 1957 titanium Omega Speedmaster. You see several other Speedmasters and a couple of Aquaterras as well. So like, because there was nothing going on in the film, and that was like the only thing I saw, I was like, oh my God, like he wears these watches. They're the watches that were in the book. But anyway, so he does wear, like he had, the book talks about him having several watches. Obviously like that opening sequence shows a lot of watches, but in the film he wears mostly 2 pieces, one of which being the Omega Aquaterra chronograph. And then the other is a real flex piece. It's the orange gold Speedmaster coaxial.
Oh, wow.
The orange gold watch is super cool. Like I've seen it a few times. It's actually the only time Omega did orange gold. And I think it just has to do with a different blend of the golds there, but it's a really cool piece. So yeah, he wears both of those. And then in one of the books, Christian gives Anna an Omega watch, an Omega Platinum watch, but I've seen all the films and I don't remember him giving it to her in the films. But boo.
They left that out.
Well, also it's
cut that scene out.
It would have to be like, I sent you a screenshot of the excerpt after. Again, this was the only thing I did research on today was the 50 Shades of Grey books.
Of course.
Whatever. All the gray. So in the book it says the platinum Omega watch he gave me at breakfast on our first morning, whatever. Platinum Omega ladies watches, like it would have to be something vintage or around the time of this film. Like Omega had a palladium ladies watch, but there really wasn't.
I mean, maybe the author just like made it up. I'm sure.
Which is fine. I doubt the author went through like the Omega catalog or something like that. But, or maybe she did. Maybe it was a vintage Omega ladies piece, because there've been some amazing vintage platinum pieces come out over the years. So, yeah.
Well, I think that's cool that she actually wrote in the book that they were Omegas, because some authors, like, they just don't go into that kind of detail. And that the movie, like when they made it, they actually, kept true to that, and they had Omegas featured in the film. I definitely do not remember the watches in that movie, so you may have to do a little bit more research on that one.
Let's rewatch this movie. I'm going to call out of work today. I'll be over at your house in a few minutes. I'm just going to throw on some sweatpants, bring over some popcorn, and we're going to really do some research into this film for y'all. I'm sure all of our male listeners have seen these movies.
Yes. Oh, I bet they have. They have watched it with their wives or girlfriends. Come on, guys.
100%. And if you haven't, you should.
Oh yeah, but this was fun. I like doing this, and if you guys, if you liked this episode, and if you like topics like this, or have any ideas, any more ideas for us to talk about, just send them in to us at info@tenn2.com. I enjoyed it. This is fun.
This was fun, even though it was done very last minute on my part. But whatever. Nah, it is what it is.
You did good.
Thanks.
I mean, you've watched the movies that you were talking about, and you clearly like the watches. I think that in itself is enough research right there.
Yeah,
I'm like a total nerd, so I like dive in deep. But
I mean, I feel like I watch, or I used to watch a lot of movies, but I just don't pay attention to So you paid attention to the watches in all of these movies when you were watching it. You didn't have to Google watches and movies.
No, especially I mean, maybe like as I got older, I definitely realized like the Men in Black thing. I did research in it, but as a kid, like I do remember that the Ventura standing out to me, and it obviously I had no idea anything about Hamilton. I didn't know it was even a real watch at that point in time. But definitely the other two, I watched and recognized the watches that were in it.
Man, you are a whole other level of watch nerd.
I know. Well, like I said, I'm a big movie nerd too. So like I watch a lot of movies and I pay attention and shows and stuff like that too. But
I feel like I used to be a movie nerd.
Yeah.
And then we started a podcast.
Like Life.
Before Life. Before Life.
It took me like a whole year to get through the season of The Crown. And I was like,
oh my gosh. And I was so disappointed with how it ended. Have you started You yet on Netflix?
No, I need to.
You is amazing. I don't think there's any watches. There probably are, and I just haven't paid attention to them. But You is amazing. There's no planes. There's no boats. So you should be okay.
I just started The Outsider on HBO, which is based on a Stephen King novel.
I don't think I've seen that.
Spooky and scary.
Nope, then I won't see it.
Oh, but it's not. It's like thriller-ish more than scary, but very, very, very good.
We'll see.
I'm only 3 episodes in now, but it's one of those shows that I should have waited till they all came out because now I have to wait till every Sunday.
These are the first world problems of our lives.
I know,
man.
Jeez. I don't have patience anymore.
No, I want to be able to, not that I do binge watch, but I like the option of binge watching.
Yeah, if you want to watch a couple, you can get a couple down one night.
Did you ever watch The Mandalorian?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I finished that one. It was pretty good.
I still haven't seen it.
So. You would like it, I think. Even though you're not a big Star Wars fan, I think you would like it.
I like the Baby Yoda meme.
Exactly. That's like the main reason I liked it.
All right, so we need to end this before we just keep talking about movies and TV shows.
Baby Yoda for an hour.
Baby Yoda for an hour. We're just sitting here Googling Baby Yoda memes, and y'all have to listen to us record back and laughing back and forth. Okay, so we forgot our little outro last week, so I have it in all caps. Don't forget the stuff.
Oh, dang.
Do you see it on there? Don't forget. Okay, so make sure you head over to our website, www.tenn2.com, and check out the show notes for all of the pictures and any of the links to the Warner One podcast that we talked about, the Blog to Watch article that I had talked about. Head over, follow us on YouTube. We have YouTube now. So head over. This is why if we record in the morning, we're a disaster. If we record in the evening, we're a disaster. So this is really just us. This is us all day. So head over to our YouTube channel. Just give us a subscribe. We don't really have any major plans for the YouTube channel, but we just have it. The podcasts are on there. So if you would rather leave a window up at work, if you can't have it audio, whatever, then it is there. It's just Tenn Two. Follow us over on Instagram and on Facebook at Tenn Two Media. We actually have a really exciting episode coming up that we're recording here in a couple weeks. And I think we're going to do an Instagram live right before it. So we'll kind of announce that sort of stuff because we want to answer some questions and things like that with our guests. So a little closer, we'll probably give some more details. But yeah, make sure you give us a follow and subscribe to us wherever you listen to us and review us. Leave us a review that allows people to find our podcast more easily. Yeah, I think that's it, right?
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is it for this week, and we will talk to you guys next week.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.